The Shark Deck.
Hello and welcome to Palace Intrigue. I am your host, Mark Francis. Where is Meghan? Elle.com wondered about the Duchess and found a source who said Meghan has been keeping her head down in Montecito, taking care of the kids and working on projects that are coming up in the months ahead. Meghan is happy to let Harry take centre stage. He's flying all over the place to promote Spare, but most of the time he's returning home to Montecito and not staying out in the town very often because he wants to be with the kids. Valentine Lowe has a new book, Courtiers, in which he describes what it was like to work for Harry and Meghan, calling it like working for a couple of teenagers. That's what they were like. They were kind of stubborn. They were difficult. They were uncontrollable and incredibly willful. You look at all the things that Meghan and Harry did, for instance, private jets. There was a time during summer of 2019 when they took several jets in a short space of time. And this was despite all the advice they were given. Don't do that because you've been lecturing the world about saving the environment and then you're on a private jet, which was so bad in terms of carbon emissions. But they wouldn't listen to reason. And of course, when the media found out about it, Harry got severely criticized, but they were just difficult to deal with. Another former palace insider said they felt Markle thought she was going to be the Beyoncé of the UK after marrying Harry. Lowe added, I think they felt she wanted the stardom. She wanted the adulation. He alleged that she was less interested in cutting ribbons, opening hospitals, and doing all the frankly boring things that members of the royal family often have to do, but she liked the stardom. She liked the attention. In another anecdote, after Meghan had pulled to shreds a plan she had drawn up, the woman told Meghan how hard it would be to implement a new one. Don't worry, Meghan told her, if there was literally anyone else I could ask to do this, I would be asking them instead of you. Then there were the constant calls. Fox News shared an excerpt. You could not physically escape them, a staffer was quoted as saying. There were no lines or boundaries. It was last thing at night, first thing in the morning. The book alleged that relations between the couple and some of their senior staff became so fractious that Miguel Head, Prince William's private secretary, had to step in to help keep the peace. Some of them left, went on to go and get new jobs because they couldn't take it anymore, Lowe claimed. If you listen to the testimony of some of these people, when they were anticipating getting a bit of roasting from Meghan, they talked about, I'm shaking, I'm terrified, I can't stop shaking. That's how bad things were. And people talked about members of staff being completely broken by that. Some staffers have a group called the Sussex Survivors Club. Lowe said, at the time I was writing the bullying story, this is a couple of years after the incidents in question, some of these people were still in an emotionally fragile state. There was one person in particular who was periodically in tears because all those memories were coming back. Lowe also explained the dynamics of the royals. The centre of power is Buckingham Palace, obviously, but they don't have complete control over other households. The other households run things how they want to run things. To an extent, they're answerable to Buckingham Palace, but also not very much. They're answerable to the person they work for. There's a certain amount of independence there. That kind of independence leads to a slight lack of control. I think that was one of the problems. And even when they're getting along quite well, there's always an element of friction and mistrust between the households. Palace Intrigue will be right back. Even Omid Scobie thinks the world might need a break from Harry and Meghan. Omid told the Royally Obsessed podcast, in many ways, how can a regular person not have Sussex fatigue at this point? I almost feel like it's my duty to follow it every step of the way, but I can understand how general members of the public have just had enough of hearing about the royal dramas in general. And yet we can tell you that no matter the zeitgeist, the episodes of this podcast that do the best have the words Meghan Markle in the title. So we're proud to tell you about Meghan's favourite pizzeria. In 2014, Meghan was a food blogger of sorts and wrote on her site, The Tig. Tucked down on Mulberry Street with an inviting bar, warm tones washing the walls and the smell of basil and rich tomato sauce wafting throughout, there rests my holy grail of pizza. My love for Ruby Rosa began in the first week they opened. A friend had mentioned it to me, and I sat at the bar and had a slice of their a la vodka pie. Okay, I had two, and a cold beer. That is where my love affair began. It's the pizza, the blessed, chewy, crunchy, perfect crust, the gooey cheese and the unparalleled bite that I literally dream of. And there you have it. If you'd like to email us, our address is thepalaceintrigue@gmail.com. Please follow us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your favorite shows. I'm Mark Francis. My thanks to John McDermott. This is Palace Intrigue. Good times.
Hi, I'm Johnny Mac, host of Daily Comedy News. Do you like the little Letterman homage there on the music bed? Yeah, start your mornings with a quick 10-minute recap of late night, not Dave, all late night, and the latest on Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, John Mulaney, Tig Notaro, Eliza Schlesinger, Amy Schumer, Joe Rogan, Mark Maron, all your favorite comedians. It's Daily Comedy News. It's an easy way to start your morning, and I promise I'll keep it clean. Daily Comedy News, wherever you get your shows.